is a fairly groundbreaking piece of legislation because it creates a comprehensive statewide industry-paid take-back program for home-generated pharmaceutical drugs and medical sharps, under which California consumers can safely and conveniently dispose of medical waste and unused medical products. Recent amendments expand the definition of covered entity to ensure CalRecycle has full authority to properly enforce the bill. The amendments also create a new workable framework for sharps, or otherwise needles, by authorizing sharp stewardship plans to operate a mail take-back model utilizing safe containers that are made readily available and provided free of charge to any consumer in need. Additionally, amendments were also taken to exclude specialty products or animal medicines that are separately regulated by state and federal law. This measure just passed through the Senate Environmental Safety and Toxics Committee on a unanimous bipartisan vote. Folks, we've been working on this concept for years. We finally got a product that has virtually unanimous agreement. This is a time to step up on this issue, and I'm very proud to ask you for your aye vote in concurrence on Assembly amendments.
Thank you, Senator Jackson. Senator Anderson?
On my computer, the bill that's described is inconsistent with what was just presented. So where would I find the language of this bill for this? Because I don't have it. And I would really like to vote for it, but right now it's all about education.
One moment, and we'll figure that out.
Thank you.
As we're figuring that out, we can take discussion and debate. Senator Wojciechowski, on this issue?
Yes, I rise in support. We heard this off the floor in the Environmental Quality Commission. My hat's off to the author. I've been here for 8 years in the legislature, and finally to have the industry come together. There's a couple more bites of the apple as the Stewardship Council gets together and decides how they're going to, what program they're going to put together. And then the Recycling Center, as the author pointed out, is going to develop some regs, and they're going to have some oversight. So this is a process that's been going on for many years, and this is a giant step forward. So I urge an aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Wojciechowski. Senator Stone.
Thank you, Madam President, and I first want to tip my hat off to my colleague from Santa Barbara. I know this has been a long, tough road to get here. Colleagues, there are 7.8 billion hypodermic needles that are used in the United States every year. So if you look at California having approximately 13% of the nation's population, that means we have 1 billion needles that are being disposed of. And that doesn't even include the lancets that are used by diabetics to pierce their skin to get a blood sample so that their blood sugar can be monitored. As many of you know, I'm a pharmacist. I own a compounding pharmacy. I've got a sterile compounding license. We go through a lot of syringes and we go through a lot of needles. But what we do is we buy these pre-packaged containers where we put all of our dirty needles, and when we're done with the dirty needles, we put it in a self-addressed prepaid UPS sticker, and it goes and it's appropriately incinerated. This is the kind of model that we need in the state of California, and that is what's been incorporated as a facet of SB 1212, and having these mail-back containers to make it convenient and easy for consumers to basically put these plastic containers in a box and just put them out in the mail, and they get appropriately destructed. You know, we obviously are trying to prevent blood-borne diseases like HIV, hepatitis B, which can survive 7 days on a needle outside of a host, or Hep C, which can survive 2 months, 63 days outside their host. And of course, the industry has worked hard over the years to make the insulin syringes, the needles, smaller. The higher the gauge, the smaller the needle, to make it less of an excruciating experience for people that have to use insulin 2, sometimes 3 times a day. But because these needles have gotten so small that they actually pierce a lot of the gloves that many of the MRFs that go through our trash in all of our respective counties, they actually pierce those and cause some of our workers to get punctured, which puts them at risk of these potentially very serious diseases. I think that this is going to be a program that is going to be a model for the country because there is no question that there is not an appropriate mechanism for people to safely dispose of their needles. With the exception, there are some local governments that have done a pretty good job of coming up with their own programs. But one of the great benefits of this program, my colleagues, and this is probably one of the most important facets of this bill, is it will be universally implemented throughout the state. You're not going to have 58 counties coming up with their own different programs, cities, 400 plus cities coming up with their own programs. Everybody's going to know what the rules are, rules that I know are going to work to make our communities safer. So again, I want to applaud my colleague from Santa Barbara. I'm very proud to stand with her and support this bill, and I urge your aye vote on SB 212.
Thank you, Senator Stone. Members, further discussion or debate? Senator Gaines.
Thank you, Madam President and members. And I rise in support. Our family has had issues with type 1 diabetes, and so we have dealt with the sharps. And just as the senator from Temecula explained, I had to mail those away. So having these sites available within counties and having something that's consistent statewide is very good. I want to compliment you for moving forward with this legislation, and I think it's going to be a nice benefit. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Gaines. Further discussion or debate? Seeing and hearing none, Senator Jackson, please close.
Thank you. I respectfully ask for your aye vote and concurrence in the Senate Assembly amendments.
Thank you, Senator Jackson. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Atkins. Aye. Bates. Aye. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Bradford. Aye. Canella. Aye. Chang. Aye. De Leon. De Leon. Aye. Delgado. Aye. Dodd. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hernandez. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Weso. Aye. Jackson. Aye. Lada. Aye. Leva. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mitchell. Aye. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Aye. Wynn. Aye. Nilsson. Aye. Pan. Aye. Portantino. Aye. Roth. Aye. Skinner. Aye. Stern. Aye. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Aye. Wachowski. Aye. Wiener. Aye. Wilk. Aye.
Senator moves the call. Members, we are going to